This fall, China did something unprecedented in history. It didn't buy a single U.S. soybean. Trump swiftly declared that in 4 weeks, he will confront Xi Jinping face-to-face at APEC. This soybean war is no longer just about food. It's a life-or-death gamble between Trump's voter base and Xi Jinping's regime. Meanwhile, with Beijing's fourth plenum looming, infighting, health rumors, and cross-strait undercurrents are all erupting at once. Food war, power war, Taiwan Strait war, which one ignites first? Don't miss the next big reveal. Subscribe now and turn on the bell so the truth finds you first. Unprecedented in history. This fall, China didn't buy a single U.S. soybean. Bear in mind, China consumes over 100 million tons of soybeans a year. The U.S. used to be the largest supplier, but orders have now dropped to zero, setting a record not seen in 25 years. Trump immediately posted on Truth Social announcing, "In 4 weeks, I will meet Xi Jinping to discuss soybeans head-on." The timing lines up perfectly, because from October 31st to November 1st, the APEC summit will be held in South Korea. Trump has confirmed he will attend, and South Korean media further reported that Xi Jinping also plans to attend and stay for 2 nights. This soybean war is no longer just about food. It's an explosive political gamble between China and the United States. The soybean war, Trump's vote bank and Xi Jinping's bargaining chip. On October 1st, U.S. President Trump bluntly stated on Truth Social, "In 4 weeks, I will meet Xi Jinping, and the main event is soybeans." This wasn't an offhand remark. From October 31st to November 1st, the 2025 APEC Leaders Summit will be held in Gyeongju, South Korea. Trump's itinerary has long been confirmed, while South Korea's Chosun Ilbo reported that Xi Jinping will also go, staying in Korea for 2 nights, and plans to sit down with Trump and South Korean President Lee Jae-myung. However, Beijing's official stance is still feigning silence. Here's the question: why soybeans, of all things? Because this time, Beijing has played it too hard. U.S. data shows that as of September 18th, China hadn't bought a single U.S. soybean. This is the first time since statistics began in 1999. China's soybean consumption is enormous, over 100 million tons per year, but domestic production is insufficient to meet demand, leaving it highly dependent on imported soybeans. China's soybean imports account for 3/5 of global trade. Soybeans used to be the largest U.S. export item to China. According to the American Soybean Association, last year the total value of soybeans exported from the U.S. to China reached $12.6 billion, accounting for 52% of total U.S. soybean exports. Yet since May of this year, China's purchases of U.S. soybeans have fallen entirely to zero. The reason is that Xi Jinping has treated soybeans as a bargaining chip in U.S.-China trade negotiations. By refusing to buy U.S. soybeans, he can inflict pain on American farmers. And American farmers are one of Trump's voter bases. That pain will ultimately converge on Trump. On August 19th this year, a letter from the American Soybean Association to President Trump stated, "If we still can't reach an agreement with China on soybeans by the fall, the impact on U.S. soybean growers will become even more severe." China has shifted its soybean orders to Argentina and Brazil. However, even with soybeans as a bargaining chip, Xi Jinping could still lose the whole game. Brazil is the only country capable of meeting China's demand, but U.S. agricultural experts believe China may not purchase U.S. soybeans this fall, and Brazil will enter its soybean harvest season early next year. If Brazil suffers droughts or floods next year, soybeans will have a poor harvest. In that case, China will be in trouble. China's soybean harvest this year is set to reach a historic high, but even if domestic production hits 21 million tons, China will still need to import 100 to 105 million tons of soybeans. For China's appetite, domestically produced soybeans are still a drop in the bucket. Trump's response: "I won't let farmers down." Trump stated bluntly, "I will never let our farmers down," and noted that the government has obtained huge revenues from tariffs and will allocate part of those funds to support farmers. On October 20th, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent said that since China refuses to purchase U.S. soybeans, the federal government will support American farmers, with a related announcement expected next week. Bessent stated that American farmers gave overwhelming support to Republican candidate Trump in the 2024 presidential election. So, we will fully support them. Bessent believes it is shameful that Chinese communist leaders decided to take American farmers, especially soybean growers, hostage or as pawns in trade negotiations. Besant pointed out that recent U.S. trade agreements almost all include provisions for purchasing U.S. agricultural products, so other countries will fill the gap left by China. Record harvests have also affected price trends, the fourth plenum and Xi Jinping's crisis. Xi Jinping truly deserves the title of the CCP's chief accelerator toward demise. He marks the turning point from the CCP's prosperity to decline. An editorial by Taiwan's Liberty Times on October 2nd wrote that, right before National Day, a CCP Politburo meeting confirmed the fourth plenum will be held from the 20th to the 23rd of this month. Whether the mysteries of Beijing's high-level power struggles over the past year will finally come to light may be answered then. She seems to realize that signs of his unstable grip on power over the past year have spread across the international community. First, Michael Flynn, Trump's first national security advisor, and then former U.S. ambassador to Bermuda John R. S. Leighton both publicly revealed signs of Xi Jinping's shaky position. These semi-official remarks seem to further convince people that Beijing's eerie atmosphere is not mere rumor. Trump's tariff negotiations with China have dragged on, seemingly waiting for Zhong Nanhai's dust to settle. At the same time, Xi Jinping's health problems have become increasingly impossible to hide from the public. At the September 3rd military parade in Beijing, his discussion of longevity with Putin reflected his anxiety over red flag health issues. For the CCP's interest groups, this is both a crisis management issue, not endangering one-party rule, and a scramble for seats in a post-Xi era. Strike first to gain the advantage. Notably, at a time when U.S.-China relations are trending tense, Japan's Jiji Press reported that multiple diplomatic sources revealed on October 2nd that the U.S. and Japanese governments are coordinating for President Trump to visit Japan around the 27th of this month. After Ishiba Shigeru, Japan's new prime minister is expected to be selected in the Diet's prime ministerial designation election on the 15th, which means about 2 weeks after taking office. The new prime minister will hold a face-to-face meeting with Trump. Trump's visit aims to build trust between the U.S. and Japanese leaders, and to reaffirm the strengthening of the U.S.-Japan alliance's deterrence amid the situations involving the CCP and North Korea. Trump's Asia chessboard. U.S. Japan ROK linkage. Trump plans to attend ASEAN-related meetings opening on October 26th in Malaysia before visiting Japan. During his stay in Japan, he will also visit South Korea in coordination with the APEC Leaders Summit opening on the 31st. At this moment, Hideo Terumi, former Japanese ambassador to China and a professor at Ritsumeikan University, delivered a speech. He believes the international community is in an extremely severe environment. One could say that with the emergence of U.S. President Trump, a new romance of the Three Kingdoms era among the U.S., China, and Russia has begun. Although Trump is an ally of Japan, he has always pursued an America First policy. The CCP seeks to build an international order favorable to itself, and Russia is a country that, in today's era, uses force to invade others. With nuclear-armed powers crowding the scene, Japan must reassess its national interests. Terumi pointed out, how can the Communist Party rule such vast territory and so many people with one-party dictatorship? Xi Jinping, as state chairman of the PRC, proposed a new goal of making the country strong. The CCP slogan Mao Zedong made China stand up, Deng Xiaoping made China rich, Xi Jinping makes China strong, is the answer. In September of this year, the CCP held a large-scale military parade with the aim of seizing the historical discourse power over the victory in the war of resistance against Japan, and to publicize itself as a military power. He believes the CCP's anti-Japan propaganda has never ceased, but Xi's approach is fundamentally different from the past. Previously, the CCP only cast Japan's military or government as the bad Japanese, whereas now it no longer draws clear distinctions and instead instills in Chinese people the impression that all Japanese are bad. The CCP has also used highly influential films to carry out large-scale anti-Japan propaganda, generating wide resonance on social media. Beyond seeking historical rectification, another goal is to promote the CCP's historical perspective to the international community. The CCP not only wants to become a strong power, its biggest goal is to try to reshape the existing international order led by the United States. In Xi Jinping's words, that is global governance. The CCP wants to show that it will replace the US and become the founder of a new international order. At the same time, it wants to control two trump cards, Russia's President Putin and North Korea's Workers' Party General Secretary Kim Jong-un. She wants to become the hero who makes the CCP strong. He has no intention of handing over power just like that. He has set his sights on the CCP's 15th five-year plan, and made Taiwan the focus of his National Day reception speech this year, all to keep his grip on power. Xi's third term will end in 2027, but the 15th five-year plan runs from 2026 to 2030. He hopes to remain in power during the 15th five-year plan, and the key to maintaining power is launching a war. Once the Taiwan Strait War breaks out, Xi would be the supreme commander. To attack Taiwan, the CCP is not only joining forces with Russia to enhance airborne paratrooper capabilities, it has also built a mock judicial yuan next to a mock presidential office building at the Zurich training area in Inner Mongolia. Undercurrents in the Taiwan Strait. The CCP rehearses a decapitation strike. Japan's Sankei Shimbun reported that on October 1st, the Japan Institute for National Fundamentals, JINF, obtained satellite imagery analysis showing that, in preparation for attacking Taiwan, the PLA built a new mock judicial yuan on land next to the mock presidential office building at a training site in Inner Mongolia and constructed a 280-meter-long underground tunnel connecting them, an attempt to strengthen a decapitation operation targeting Taiwan's president. The PLA's Joint Tactical Training Base at Zurich in Inner Mongolia is its largest training ground, covering about 1,066 square kilometers. When CCTV reported on a live army exercise in 2015, it had already aired footage of this mock presidential office building, showing that targeting the presidential office is no secret. Veteran Japanese media figure Akio Yaita wrote on Twitter that, besides the mock presidential office, there are also facilities like a mock Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the base. These highly realistic buildings are not only for military training, but also serve to conduct psychological warfare against Taiwan. By publicly revealing such facilities, they create a threatening atmosphere that the CCP is ready. Since 2020, the training area around the CCP's mock presidential office has expanded nearly threefold. JINF notes that within these mock facilities, the PLA is not just constructing buildings. It is continuously conducting simulated combat drills. In August 2022, multiple armored vehicles were deployed in PLA training. What appeared to be a brigade-sized unit conducted exercises simulating confrontation with defenders of the presidential office. Since August of this year, armored vehicles and roadblocks have been seen on roads around the mock presidential office, suggesting ongoing training. JINF researcher Makigo Nakagawa stated that under the Xi system, the Zurich base has clearly accelerated expansion, and training has become more realistic. This time, not only has the mock presidential office been expanded, a mock judicial yuan and underground tunnel were newly built, undoubtedly a warning to Taiwan that even with underground passages, you still can't escape. Man proposes, heaven disposes. Xi single-mindedly wants to live to 150. But his health status is not something his personal will can control. As for the CCP, an evil spirit steeped in countless crimes, it will be eliminated in the torrent of history. How much more so for Xi? At present, all factions inside the CCP are fighting for supreme power. The fourth plenum may reach a climax in this power struggle. The CCP has already entered its sunset moment, shifting from prosperity to decline. Whether Xi yields power is no longer up to him.